sorry, y'all. Sorry, I'm coming in. Looks like we got a good connection to YouTube. Oh, I can't believe it. That never happens anymore. What in the world's going on today? Let me just get things started here. We're good to go. Oh, there we go. Gotta get a good song going. Is my camera working? It is. I can't believe it. Okay, well, I didn't stream yesterday, which is a rarity. And just to let you know, after this, we're going to be going to D-Live. Have a few weird things to talk about. We're going to be doing some weird stuff on D-Live, so just be prepared. Just understand, what I do for the cause of science and getting to the truth. DLive.tv/UNIRocktv. We've got Blue from Blue Marble Science. I'm going to unmute him in just a minute and bring him in. But please, make sure, mods, you grab this link. I'm dropping it for you right now so the mods have it. And just make sure that you put it in the chat for me. If you're subscribed to my channel, please go subscribe to Blue. And let me go ahead and get him in here. After I'm in the newsroom, we're ready to go. Okay, let me turn down the audio a little bit. And here we are. Blue, can you hear me okay?
I can. How you doing, Uni?
Great, man. Thanks for coming to talk. I've been wanting to have you on the channel for a while, so it's just awesome to finally get you in here.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, anytime. I saw you guys talking, and I jumped in with you guys on Jose's channel. It's what made me jump in. I saw you and Bob the Science Guy. You guys had been in there. You've been going there for a while, haven't you? Do you want to tell us a little bit about, like, you know, what happens when you're talking to people there and stuff, and then we'll get into your channel and how you got started on YouTube and everything. Is that cool?
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I have been going to Jose's channel for a while. I've been going to Sean G's channel for a while. You know, just hanging out with the guys and trying to figure out what in the hell is wrong with these flat Earth people. I don't think I'm any closer to an answer now than I was when I began. In fact, I may be further away from an answer.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the same way, man. You've got Gladys, though, on your channel. I actually have an assistant on mine called Busy. So I love Gladys, by the way. Gladys is just awesome.
Oh, Gladys is cool. I couldn't do the show without Gladys. No doubt about it.
Gladys is always popping up to help you out and jump in with a little here and there. I love it.
Yeah. When I get a little out of control, she brings me back in line.
Well, we've been talking a little bit. We talked on D-Live. Any of my audience that was on D-Live that day, you got to know Blue there. But, you know, since you haven't talked on YouTube yet, you know, let's just start over. You know, if you want to just talk about how you started your channel, and, you know, you do a lot of content that's focused on science and talking about, you know, debunking flat Earth. So if you want, just hook us up with how you got started and what made you jump in.
Well, it's really kind of a crazy story. I had no intention to starting into any of this. I was watching YouTube primarily because I've got a big interest in woodworking, and a bunch of the woodworking guys, you know, have YouTube channels, and so I would go on and see look for their stuff. And I don't know, one day I messed up and ran across somebody's flat Earth thing, and I thought, oh, what the hell, this has just got to be a joke. I'll just watch a little bit of this. It can't be much to it. And you know, the next thing you know, I got a little too close to the rabbit hole, I guess. And got somewhat sucked into it, and I thought, well, okay, it's not that hard. I'll just do it. I don't know anything about YouTube. I don't know how to make a channel. I'll just make one, and we'll see. You know, it shouldn't take but a minute or two, and we'll put an end to this bullshit. And here I am 7 months later, and the bullshit just gets deeper. So,
well, me and you both have had similar targets of debunkery, like Quantum Eraser, who I see right here in this video. Quantum Eraser thinks rail guns defy gravity. So remind me, after we get done talking about, like, you know, YouTube and stuff, I want to talk about him and Coriolis a little bit. And then you've talked about Oakley. You've talked about Puckett. I just did one about him not long ago. Yeah, so explain just a little bit of, like, your first encounter with that content, the Flat Earth debate, and how you got started with that stuff.
Well, I thought that, you know, you can take a couple of approaches to this, which is one, just you know, simply go after the crap that's out there, go after the bullshit, and say, yeah, it's wrong, and here's why. Or you can try to use this as an opportunity to do a little bit of education in along the way, which I think is a big part of the problem. It's just, people understood and learned these things when they were in school, but they forget about it. And one thing happens, and then they hear this nonsense coming out of Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser and Anthony Riley and Jaron and on and on. And we need to just, all we need to do is just remind them of how things really work. So I've tried to structure my channel a little bit toward that aspect of it. Not just the flat out debunking, but let's try to provide a little education as we go. Now, I won't say it's successful, but it's
no, you do a great job, man. A lot of people, they get really intense, and you do that sometimes, but for the most part, you do a great job in conveying, where they're wrong and easily debunk where they are debunked. So, like, what's the worst thing you've seen from, like, out of all your videos you did on Oakley and them, what do you think's the worst, like, subject that they've hit? What's the worst thing they've used to attempt to debunk the globe that you've made a video on up to now, you think?
Oh, hell, every damn thing they've done has just been incredibly stupid.
Well, let's start there then with the railgun thing and Coriolis, because you and Bob are the ones who really got me to understand Coriolis. It seems complicated at first, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and I suppose it could be, and maybe it should be, but when you think about it logically, when you look at what goes on, it's really not that hard to understand. I get really upset sometimes with guys that are just being intentionally disingenuous. And if you look at the argument that Quantum Eraser was putting up for this railgun argument of his, he's trying to argue that the Earth has to be flat because the railgun fires a projectile, a sabot round, at a perfectly on a perfectly straight trajectory. And we all know that is absolutely impossible. It couldn't possibly happen. No matter what it is, as I said in the video I did, hell, I can disprove that with their bullshit relative density disequilibrium crap.
Yeah.
The damn thing has got to follow a parabolic arc. It has no choice. It has to. How in the hell that somehow or the other in their mind disproves the spherical Earth makes no sense to me. But they're telling the story to people that want to hear that story, and they want to believe that story. So
you're right, man. You're right. We were talking about how a lot of it seems like it's religious fundamentalism disguised as science, and I think we're right on point with that description of these guys. I think they're hiding their religious view behind a scientific explanation to gain more followers, right? Do you agree with me there?
Oh, I do. The one thing I can recall my father telling me a long time ago, he said, son, be careful of what a guy's accusing you of, because that's probably what he's doing to you. And every time I hear Nathan Oakley talk about the fundies, the religious fundies on the globe side, all I can think of is, you lying son of a bitch. That's exactly what you are. You are a religious zealot accusing me of being religious because I happen to agree with what science has brought us.
Yeah, and then they hide behind that whole thing too, trying to turn science into a religion. And I don't know how they can use that argument, or it's so easy to show that that's not true. Science, builds upon debunking the person before you, or adding something else to it and leaving it the way it is. That in no way fits the description of religious zealotry. I don't know how they can make it. Seems like a weak argument at this point.
To me, it's not an argument at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know where they come up with that. Well, I do. It's part of the smoke screen. They've got to create that. They've got to keep saying that. If they don't, their argument begins to fall apart pretty quickly.
Very true. So I'm going to see if you can fact check me, because I want to get better at my explanation of Coriolis. So you can see my screen, right? Or do I need to reshare it? Okay. So here's what I've got in my head, and I've shown my audience this so many times, they're probably like, stop it, UNIRock. No, I need to do this, y'all. Okay? Okay, so we've got a circle, and basically, as the circle rotates, this line, this part of the circle, it's further distance from the point at the equator to a shorter distance here. So if you imagine them as like hands on a clock, you know, this is a longer line than that, so it travels more of a distance around. And because of that, if you fire over a very long distance, like the railgun, it's going to miss its target by a very small amount due to the difference in that length or the distance that it travels around. Is that pretty good? Do I have it down a little, you know, am I close?
Yeah, you're real close. The thing about Coriolis to keep in mind is that an object, a ballistic object like you're talking about, is going to maintain, you've got conservation of angular momentum involved. That thing, if you fire it from the, let's say you got the gun set up at the equator, and let's just say, you know, for round numbers, the equator is moving at a speed of 1,000 miles an hour, more or less. Well, the gun, the projectile, everything is moving at 1,000 miles an hour from the west to the east, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now you're shooting north to a latitude that has a smaller angular speed. It's only moving at, let's say, 700 miles an hour. Right?
Gotcha.
Mid-latitude, say 700 miles an hour. Well, that projectile, when it left the gun, had an angular speed of 1,000 miles an hour. When it arrives at the target, it still carries that angular momentum with it. So it's going to move in front of your target up there at that latitude. It will land over there where you're showing it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
that is the Coriolis effect. It will deflect. It will appear to deflect to the right.
So it makes such sense when you say it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's easy. It's simple.
Yeah, it is. It's not hard to understand. And if you fire from the north to the south, it still does the same thing. You're firing from an angle. You've got a conservation of angular momentum from up there too. So now it's not moving as fast up there. When you fire it to the south, instead of leading the target, it will lag behind the target because it's firing into an area that is moving at a faster rate of speed.
And somebody today in a video said that in World War II, they had to calculate for this with the big guns that they were developing, and it's historical. It's in the record. It's something that can't be argued. So, you know, that's a good point, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Guns that are shooting, you know, 20 miles, 30 miles are going to experience the Coriolis effect, and it may only cause the round to miss by you know, a few hundred yards, but a few hundred yards is a miss. I'm sorry.
Oh, even a couple feet would be a miss for some of these rounds. Man, some of them blow up though. They have such force, they kind of pop a little bit. So, you know, either way, yeah, it makes perfect sense once you look at it. But these guys, what I've realized, especially today, Rachel, UNIRock, was forcing me to watch Conspiracy Cats. Didn't have to force me hard, though, on Simon Dan's channel, debate Nathan Thompson. So it was Cats versus Nathan Thompson. And he had such a good point. He said, I'm not here to disprove your flat earth. I just want to show, Cats wanted to show that Nathan lacked the ability to understand these concepts. And I think that shows us that it's just an education problem, right? Do you agree with me there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, because I said that for a reason. Today I was in Sleeping Warriors chat room, and a bunch of people saw me there, and some people thought I was trolling, but I wasn't trolling. Eventually I got to the point, I told Sleepy that he had to go back to middle school if he didn't understand what he was arguing about. And I wasn't trying to be mean. I know it sounds really mean. But some of these points they make are basic, you know, and we learned it back then. So I was being honest. But anyway, we know that there's a deceptive side to things, and I'm sure you've experienced it many times. I've seen in your videos.
absolutely.
So who's the worst one? Who's the you got Sleepy, you got Quantum Eraser, you got Nathan, you got Arwen. Which one's probably the most deceptive out of all of them, or are they equal? What do you think?
I think Quantum Eraser is at the very bottom of this pile of dung, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
They all seem to parrot the crap he comes up with.
Seems really Dunning-Kruger, you know? I've never heard that word used so many times until I started to look into this type of content, but he really does exemplify Dunning-Kruger, where you don't understand something, but you think you're an expert at this thing that you don't understand, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and I'll tell you, they're clever people, though. They've thought of clever arguments that are a bit. It can be a bit difficult to respond to, especially the way they go about putting them. Unfortunately, if you're not careful, they trick you. They suck you into their game. You know, when in fact all of history for the last 2,500 years has said, you know, here, this is the way things really are, and we got reasons to believe it, and here's the reasons. And all of a sudden, these idiots want to come along and say, no, you got to prove it again. No, we don't. They need to prove their point. They need to show us their flat Earth, and they're not doing it. Oh, well, they're not doing it for a good reason. They can't.
Very true. And I think that that's what all of us are hitting the conclusion. So all these different creators across YouTube, regardless of if they just started or if they were in something different beforehand, we've been making videos. We've been trying to debunk and trying to even reach out and discuss and debate. I think we're all hitting a point where we say to ourselves, you know, it's almost gone as far as it can go. I was talking to Mr. Sensible today. I jumped in his chat and he invited me up and we were talking and he said, they were having that conversation, is flat Earth dying or dead at this point? And everyone's having that conversation right now. And I think it's about there's no new argument, right? You can only do the same thing so many times before people get bored of it. Seems like it's gotten there.
I think it has. I really think it has. They're down to splitting hairs. You're down to Anthony Riley trying to turn science into a courtroom. You know.
Yes, good point. And I've been criticized. I noticed that once I started, maybe a month ago, I started to debunk Quantum Eraser a little bit. I'll talk about it in a minute. But anyway, I mentioned how they argue semantics and try to apply it to science. And their response, I'm pretty sure they were responding to what I said. Other people said it too, though. But their response was, well, you have to use words to argue. And I don't think they get it. That's not what the point is. Arguing semantics is like not understanding the words that each other are using and then spending all your time trying to argue the definition and maybe like, I can't explain it any better than that, but what we're trying to get is these guys to think about what we're saying and come to some conclusion with us. What can we do? Like, how do you fight a semantic argument when you're when you're talking about science? It doesn't seem possible to me.
I agree with you. It's extremely difficult to try to address that sort of rhetoric.
Dance. It's like a dance, you know.
Yeah,
like dancing around everything. Like
it really is. They fail to understand. Well, they fail to accurately portray the way science really is, and I think probably the most accurate description I've seen and have ever seen really about this scientific method simply says there are almost as many scientists as there are scientific methods.
mm-hmm.
When you look at, but if you listen to Quantum Eraser and Anthony Riley, there is one hard, fast Betty Crocker cookbook scientific method that you have to follow. That's just nonsense. It doesn't work like that. Science is very open to the ways that things are being done, as long as you can, as long as what you're doing makes sense. You can pretty much do things the way you like.
I guess you'd say as long as other people can understand it, correct? I mean, that's what it's really about.
Exactly.
So how much of the argument now is based on them not understanding what we're saying? I think it's most of it.
I think most of it is. I'll tell you this. if you've ever been involved in basic research, and I have been, I spent about 5 years of my life in a research and development group. Uh, if at the end of the day, when you write up your findings, if it isn't obvious to the reader what your independent variable is, you didn't do a very good job.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
that's good that you brought that up, because today there was this giant discussion, but it was only Sleepy and 5 of his buddies, and they were trying to say that the definition of an independent variable is not what science is using, that science has it wrong. So, do you want to go into the independent variable just a little bit, or if you don't want to, it's okay. I'm kind of using you to hit all these things I've seen today and correct them out in the world, right? Because you're good at that, so why not, right?
well, yeah, in theory, the independent variable is the thing that you're varying
Hmm.
uh, to try to determine the cause of an effect. Okay, that kind of goes without saying. I mean, uh, if I want to know why water boils, then I need to vary the amount of heat I'm putting into the water. Right? That's
Yeah.
gonna that's gonna tell me if that's what's causing water to boil. Uh, it's all quite obvious when you seriously sit and think about it.
It's very
Uh,
basic, right? It's a very
yeah, it
basic
is.
type
It
thing.
really is.
So it's about a middle school level of learning. Okay, I'm not going to go there too much, but
Well,
um,
well, you're right about that, though. I mean, keep in mind the reason that we write down things like these, and you can find the scientific method represented as anything from 3 or 4 steps up to 12 or 14 steps, just depending on whose textbook you want to pick up. But the only reason that stuff is ever put out there, is ever written down, is just to give people who have never had any experience with science an idea of what they're trying to do. Okay,
yeah,
I can promise you, in the 5 years I spent in research and development, not one time did anybody say to me ever, "What was your independent variable?"
yeah.
Not
Well,
once.
here's
Wow.
Sleepy's argument, and I don't mean to interrupt you. He said though, like time can be an independent variable in a scientific experiment, but he says since we can't manipulate time, that he's debunked our science. That's what I heard today on his channel, and I know that's BS, but I can see where he's wrong there. But it's so basic. But anyway, if you want to say anything to that,
Well, it is so basic. I mean, time is, if you stop and think about it, uh, it's,
waiting 10 seconds is how you vary time, right? So it is an
yeah,
independent variable.
it's always an independent variable. Always. In fact, you could argue that time is always an independent variable in any experiment. You can't do an experiment in zero time.
Yeah. So by him saying that, we can't manipulate it like ourselves, that was his argument. Once again, it falls to semantics, in my opinion, because he's using the definition of the independent variable and then saying, hey, look at this experiment, it's invalid, it's not science. And how far does that, how far could they take that? I mean, it there, I think they'll try to take it really, really far, but it doesn't seem like it works. It seems like it's really defeated in the
Well,
beginning of the argument.
well, it doesn't work, but it's about the only thing they've got to cling on to.
Hmm.
Uh, it, it confuses people enough and that's what they're up to anyway. Uh, it's just another point of confusion.
Oh God, I remember those missile things. I'm pulling up some of your videos while we talk, and I remember hearing this thing that Quantum Eraser put together about missiles and all that. And I'm glad you did this because, man, somebody needed to get in there and answer this guy's craziness. And I'm glad you did it, man. Like, it's stupid. It's really stupid. My
Yeah, it
goodness.
really is. I mean, it's it's okay. It's actually intended to be a surface to air missile, for God's sakes.
Yeah. What was his argument there? If you don't remember, it's fine. But if you can go over it, I'd like to hear it real quick.
Well,
If
I think his I
all
think
the
his
video.
fundamental argument was that it could take out targets too far away to be seen on a globe Earth because
Okay.
the radar couldn't see that far. Well, uh, that's right. The radar cannot see that far, but its sole purpose is not to hit a surface target 100 nautical miles away or whatever the range of that thing is supposed to be. That's it. It is a multi-purpose weapon. Yeah, it can go after surface targets. It can also go after low altitude targets. It can also
Yeah.
go after airborne targets. It can
So
go
that
after
makes
lots
sense.
of things.
It can
So you
shoot up
can't.
like really far in the sky. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I get what he
Exactly.
did there. He kind of took
Yeah.
like that and tried to lay it on the earth and then say, "Ha, debunked."
Well, exactly the same thing that he was trying to do with that latest video about the railgun,
Yeah.
trying to misrepresent the idea that line of sight. Well, if the globe guys say you can only that's the line of sight, so it couldn't possibly work on a globe if the range is 125 nautical miles because the curve would be in the way. Yeah, you're right. If you could find a way to make a projectile ignore gravity, you're correct. You'd never be able to hit anything 125 miles away. Absolutely.
Yeah,
The good news for
definitely.
us, the good news for us is we do have gravity, and every projectile, from a baseball uh, to an artillery round, follows a parabolic arc. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, definitely. And
Even water coming out of my hose pipe does that.
it's called gravity.
Yeah.
I always remember that clip where that guy's screaming, "Gravity! It's gravity!" I mean, he cusses a little bit, but you've seen the clip probably.
Oh yeah. Desert fowl.
I've always wanted to find that guy's channel. So you told me about Dwayne Kellum's channel where he is sending up these balloons, correct? Like he does
Yeah.
it himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little about Dwayne, and I'll pull up one of his videos that has the curve in it so that we can take a
Well,
look at it.
what I can tell you is I've watched Dwayne's channel for a while because he does some incredibly interesting stuff. He's one of the guys that has got the right instrumentation. He puts cameras in his payload that are not susceptible to fisheye problems and all that sort of stuff, and he fully instruments his balloon packages so that you can see the temperature, you can see the barometric pressure, you can see all the variables involved. Uh,
Wow, that's
and,
awesome.
yeah, it is. And sometimes he'll have multiple cameras where one is shooting just regular visible light, and one is shooting infrared stuff, that sort of thing.
Correct me if
And
I'm wrong, but on a flat Earth, we should be able to see much further than this, right? It should just go out and until it disappears, in my opinion.
well, yeah, it should just go on forever,
Yeah.
or to the ice wall.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
we should be able to see some penguins out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a penguin.
Yeah, man. The amount of conspiracy that's mixed into this plays a huge effect. I won't go into it because we could talk about that for hours. But if somebody like Dwayne, or if me and Team Skeptic the other night, the last stream we did, we had an amateur astronomer with his own telescope taking pictures of nebulas and galaxies, and I pulled the pictures up, and these guys just are so quick to call it fake. It seems like they're just missing out on so much good stuff doing that. But they're definitely not definitely wrong in this. If Dwayne or an amateur astronomer can do it,
Yeah, it's not like it's that hard to do. I mean,
maybe they could do it.
in fact, yeah, that seems to be one of the challenges, though, getting Flat Earth to get out and do something other than take worthless video at very low elevations across bodies of water on days when the refraction and atmospheric conditions are just horrendous. That's usually what they do. That they like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Well, yeah, I do know why. It's the only way they can produce something that they can argue about.
Somebody just said the old guy who screams gravity has a channel called Desert File. He has years of interesting content, says Misha. Yeah, Big Blue just said that, and I'll definitely check out Desert File after this. I dropped all you guys the link to Dwayne here, because he's got some great footage that I think is, whatever you believe, it's just really pretty and, it's worth checking out. Okay, so let's get back over to a little more of YouTube. This topic is current. Wolfie just put this out. So there's so many people subscribed to Phuket Word. You've done videos on him. And who was it, Blue? Oh, here it is. Wally. Where's Wally, right? You've seen Wally.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess what they're doing, on October 15th, they're asking anyone that's not a flat earther who is subscribed to Phuket Word, who I call Poo-Poo, to unsubscribe from him. At least go to Wolfie and Wally's channel and watch the video so that we can see how many people unsubscribed that are there waiting on video content and not there to believe the flat earth. What do you think about that experiment, and how many people do you think are flat earthers / debunkers? What do you think there?
I have no idea where that's going to go, but it's going to be fun to watch. I'll just leave it at that.
I'm going to be watching his sub count that day. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah. Well, Phuket seems to have a pretty fair following. I forget now what his numbers are. 10K or something.
Mm-hmm.
But his entire story is, the horizon rises to eye level. That's the only thing he ever says. And we have shown him over and over again why that's really not true.
Yeah, definitely easy to disprove.
He just doesn't. He won't give up the good fight, I guess.
Well, okay. Now I got to pick your brain a little bit. Then, at what point when we are debunking somebody and we've literally showed them whatever we possibly can, they're still against it? What point do you walk away from it, man? Like, I guess that's the when does flat Earth die argument. But with Phuket Word, I think it's over for him when he snapped last week or whenever. It shows that no matter what happens, he's never going to admit the truth to himself. So when do we just say bye to the guy? Maybe it'll be after this.
That again is a difficult question to answer. I think that's gonna be an individual decision, I guess, for each of us. When do you want to just give up on it? And
it could go on forever.
It really could, because consider he's got his following, and they're, no matter what happens, no matter what we do, they're going to believe whatever he tells them.
Yeah. Damn, man, sounds cult-like.
It's unfortunate, but it's true. Yeah, it is cult-like. You bet.
I guess there's always been that problem, going back thousands of years, people getting in groups and listening to one person, lead them or lie to them and willing to take it to crazy places. So I guess it's nothing too shocking.
Nope. You're absolutely right. It happens all the time, goes on all the time.
Well, let me see here. I got a couple more little links pulled up, and we're going to be rounding next to an hour here soon. So, I found this new channel. I don't know if you'll want to check it out and debunk it. One of our moderators, Dilly, brought it to my attention. This is the Flat Earth Vegan Witch, Ivana Snow. Flat Earth Vegan Witch. It's a really long YouTube name, but I don't know. She could use some debunking. You looking for any new targets, Blue, or you got it all set? What do you think?
Oh, no. I'll always take on a new target for sure.
Hell yeah. There's so much crazy out on YouTube. I don't ever just stick to one topic for long. I'm always bouncing around. I just try to keep the same, process to what I do. And debunking flat Earth was, easy for me. It was like a logical place to go. I've already hit many other conspiracies and given my opinion there. So, I really do think it'll be around forever, and there'll always be a need to debunk it. What do you think about YouTube stepping up and censoring a little bit? Taking them out of the algorithm a little and them crying wolf on it. What's your opinion there?
Well, I'm not too keen on the idea of censoring myself.
Me either.
I think I think they get as much right to do what they do as I do to do what I do. So that being said, it sort of puts the onus on guys like you and me to take care of the problem. No need to try to shut them down. You're not going to.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Simply tell the story correctly.
It's kind of sad that when these guys lose their place in the algorithm and all that. A little bit sad because it's fun. I'll at least admit that it's a little bit fun debunking them.
Well, it is, and frankly, I'll say this as politely as I can. I really don't give a shit what they think. I don't care what they believe. It doesn't bother me. If they want to believe the earth is flat, that's fine with me. What I don't like is them telling young people silly things like that will do nothing but make young people's lives harder as they try to go on through their life.
Through deception, through lying.
At some point, people are going to find that to be a significant disadvantage. Please don't go tell your boss you think the earth is flat if you want to have a job tomorrow, because you might not.
Definitely. This is on the screen is a video I did, let's see, what is it, 1 week ago. The star of a really popular Netflix show, Stranger Things, her name's Millie Bobby Brown, was talking about how she was on YouTube, discovered some flat earth videos, and talked about how there's a lot of proof. And she said this to thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, because that's what most of the people that watch her Instagram are kids. And so that whole fear was definitely realized in that situation. Just happened a week ago, too. Yeah,
that's the danger in the whole thing, in my mind.
Definitely.
Other than that, if you're 21 years old or 18 years old for that matter, and you want to think the earth is flat, God bless you, friend. Go on, help yourself, but don't tell some 8-year-old or 10-year-old kid that's watching YouTube that that's the truth, because it isn't. And they're just going to be ridiculed for stating that they have that sort of belief, and that's where I'm coming from.
And they might turn into a Phuket word in 30 years. You never know. Okay, I should say.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry, Phuket word. I'm sorry. No, but that goes into the next another topic that's came up. It's the new attempt of Sleeping Warrior to push to bring into schools alternative theories like the flat Earth. And my response there is, well, you don't even have, I think I said this on Mr. Sensible's channel today, they don't have a model. They can't show us night and day without us debunking it in seconds. They can't show us really anything else. At what point is it not the government trying to stop them from teaching in schools the flat Earth? And what point is it's wrong, it can't be proven, and that's why they're not? I think it's a little weird that they're trying to push it into the schools, personally. A little worrisome.
That's very worrisome. I'm not sure why Anthony, I mean, nobody believes, I shouldn't say that. Obviously, people believe that there's a flat earth. We got idiots out there that we're debunking on a daily basis. But out of 7 billion people on this planet, there's a handful, basically, that think that. Why should that be taught in school? Why? No scientist of any credibility whatsoever thinks that is even remotely possible. Are we obligated to just throw every possible theory out there? No,
exactly. We're not. And we'd have to if we put it in. And they bring it up in school. I remember talking about it. X amount of years ago, they believed the Earth was flat, or this society believed that the Earth was flat. That came up in school when I was in school. We never gave it a second thought. We never said, maybe they were right, until YouTube came up.
I blame the whole
YouTube.
I blame the whole thing on Nikon myself.
On Nikon?
Nikon.
Oh, cameras. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there would be a flat Earth if there wasn't a Nikon P900.
P900, yeah.
I think that's the thing that did it.
My problem is you zoom in with the camera on a star with that camera, and it'll look like a little globby, weird thing. And I've seen videos from flat earthers. This is what a star really is when I zoom on it with my camera. But the problem is, if you zoom in with a more powerful zoom, it's not that. So it's so simple and easy, and that's why we shouldn't teach this stuff to kids, Riley. It's wrong. It's easy to prove wrong. It's easy to disprove.
Yeah, well, they act like that. They act like there were no telescopes before the Nikon P900. For God's sakes.
Yeah.
What do you think Galileo did with his telescope right after he looked in the neighbor lady's bedroom window? He went over to the seashore and watched the boats disappear. Good God.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing this for 400 years. Yeah, there are those days when you see the boat floating up above the horizon. You betcha. So it's called a mirage.
And most days, you're just going to see it disappear from the bottom up.
That's what I've always experienced.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'll tell you what's even better, Tess. Get on a boat and go out to sea.
Oh yeah.
Look back at the shoreline at those 30-story condos as they disappear from the bottom up.
Well, so obviously you're at the same place I am. We all realize the deceptive nature of it. We understand why there's some deception. They get paid, they get attention, they get what they want from it. A huge amount of people stepped up to debunk it, and we're having fun while we do it. So hey, we'll do that. We can do this for as long as it takes, I guess. Nothing wrong with having something to laugh at every day, I suppose.
Well, yeah, if you can find a little humor in it along the way, and most of it is, to me, pretty funny. Yeah, but there are other things, and I think I'm going to be shifting the focus of what I do a little bit away from flat Earth and more toward.
Yeah, where are you going next? What are you doing next?
Well, I'm interested in some of the other goofy conspiracy theories, but just as interested in well, shall we say, continued education. I don't want to go trying to teach college level courses on YouTube or any of that, but I think I think we could bring a little better understanding to the real basic parts of science to some of these guys. Let them be a little less afraid of mathematics. It's really not our enemy. Math's not something everybody enjoys, but it's not anything to be afraid of. And I think it terrifies those guys.
True. I've always loved math. I always said it was my strongest subject. I know that a lot of people are different, but I always loved it. And what would be really cool? When you were saying that, I was thinking somebody should do a refresher course, like entertaining and funny, and maybe show some examples of why, before you... Somebody needs to do like, hey, we haven't been in high school in 10 years. Let's refresh ourselves on some stuff. I'd be interested in watching that kind of content. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of thing I've kind of got in mind.
Rodent just made a really good quote in the chat from Albert Einstein. And by the way, audience, we're going to round out about an hour. So if you want to ask any questions or bring up any topics, now's the time. Go ahead and drop them in, and we'll talk about whatever you throw in there. Tag me. Type UNIRocktv, and it'll tag me. Rodent said this, quote, "Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the former." That's from Albert Einstein.
Yeah, you got to believe he was right about that.
Forever Learning says, "What's there to teach about Flurf or Flat Earth? What they in hours and hours of endless repetition and contradiction can be condensed into 1 hour?" That's a good question. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it for you. I have a hard enough time trying to explain to people that boats do disappear from the bottom up. Well, let me say this, because that's what really bothered me. I never watched a lot of Flat Earth videos. You know, I was doing videos on all kinds of other stuff, and people would always say it, hey, watch a Flat Earth video, UNIRock, you'll be a Flat Earther if you do. So finally, after like a year and a half, I was bored, I didn't have anything to talk about, and I watched a Flat Earth video. And I'm like, oh my God, are they lying to us? Oh my God, boats don't disappear from the bottom up? Oh my God, this is not true, that's not true. But what I found was, if I went and typed in the word debunked after any Flat Earth topic, I had a logical, testable explanation. And that's why I'm not a Flat Earther, honestly, myself. I'm willing to believe a mystery. I'm willing to listen to a conspiracy. I'm not willing to lie to myself, though, you know?
No.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the chat, y'all. Go ahead, Blue. I don't want to interrupt you if you got anything to add.
No, you pretty much said it. I'm not willing to lie to myself.
Exactly. DC Lucas, the difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits, Albert Einstein. That's a good one. Johnny Ragadoo said to Sean Hawkins down in the chat, don't kill the Flat Earth. I just blew good money on a green screen and a new mic to debunk the jokers. Well, Johnny, when you get going, send me a link. I'll watch your videos, man. I'll sub to you. Let me know, man. Let me know once you get something done.
You betcha. Me too.
Yeah. Well, Blue, I love your channel. I've been watching for a while, and immediately I was drawn to your channel. For one, I love bluegrass. You told me earlier you actually play a little bit of, you know, instruments, and I thought that was awesome. I could kind of tell that when I heard you. I don't know. There's something about, like, when you hear another musician talk, you can kind of say, I bet that guy's a musician, and I could tell.
I would never accuse myself of being a musician, for sure.
Yeah, but don't say that, you know.
But I do enjoy tinkering around on a guitar or a banjo from time to time.
Spirit says, so all you have to do is state, quote, I know I live on a spinning ball. This is why. Game over. X respect. Okay, I'm not sure what you meant, Spirit, but if you want to explain, I'm more than welcome to hear you out. Okay, sorry. I was just making sure we get the comments in there, or the topics. But anyway, I suggest that everybody subscribes to you. You've been doing great work over the last 8 months. Your videos always go to a point. They've always got good, you know, I learned something from listening, and I laugh a lot, especially when you're debunking Oakley and Quantum Eraser and all these guys, man. I've never experienced anything like that channel, the Flat Earth Debate. Man, I'm telling you, it's an anomaly.
That is cognitive dissonance at its best.
Cognitive dissonance and Dunning-Kruger multiplied by itself.
Oh, you betcha. You betcha. With just a sprinkling of Riley mixed in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gravity is not a force, you know.
Yeah, no, go there real quick. Please, Blue, please, because I can't take it. When I hear them explain it to me, I get it. How is it? What are they doing there? I know that they say gravity's not a force, but technically it is a force. What are they doing to us there? Because they're really pissing me off with that one.
Oh, yeah, they're pissing everybody off with that one. If Einstein was still alive, they'd be pissing him off too.
Oh,
gravity is not a force. Okay, thank you, Riley. Little g, which we call gravity, right? That little g thing. Look at the dimensions of g. It is meters per second per second. Do you see force in those dimensions? I don't. That's an acceleration. Who said it was a force? It's an acceleration, for God's sakes. The other thing I'll say is this, Mr. Riley, please provide the citation in Einstein's own words that says Newton was wrong. Gravity is not a force. Please provide that for us. Because
I would love that too.
That. In fact, let me tell you what Einstein did say. He said, let no one think that this theory, talking about relativity, or any other, can ever supersede the great work of Newton.
Now
that's what
interesting.
That's what Einstein had to say about it.
I don't hear that from Riley.
No, imagine that. Imagine that. Doesn't work with the narrative much too well, does it? Nope.
Yeah. It is funny because these guys take it so seriously, man. I did a video. I wanted to bring this up before we end out, too. I did a video, Quantum Eraser Erased, where I listened to live one of his presentations in this video right here. We're live. We're listening to it. And I had the genius idea. Pull his source and read it. So every time he had a source up on the screen, I'd pause it. I would have to type, obviously, the whole damn link in. Thankfully, he puts the link up there. I go to it. Then I see that he's cherry picking, a sentence, and the rest of the article typically debunks what he's saying. So I did a 7-minute summation to show people so they wouldn't, they could watch it. Obviously, you can't watch a 3-hour video that easily, so I did that here. But my point is, Sleeping Warrior today was doing that, and I kept typing in the chat before he kicked me. Now, this is before I said the thing about him going back to school that I got kicked for. I said, he said the University of Minnesota, ... And of course he was meaning science debunked. And I said, well, can you please also pull from the University of Minnesota what they said about gravity or what they said about the shape of the Earth? Because to me, it just seems too overreaching. This seems like cherry picking at its finest also. Sorry to rant. I had to get that out.
Well, that's exactly what those guys do. Quantum Eraser is the world's worst at that, and Anthony Riley is right on his heels. You can take just about any citation that comes out of either one of those nitwits, and if you read the entire article or publication that it comes from, it will debunk what they're trying the point they're trying to make every time.
Yeah, every time. Especially the container argument. It literally, in his own source, said that gravity acts as a container, and it's in the paper. So I don't know how they... Spirit of Longhorn explained what Spirit was saying, and I don't want to ever fight with you, Spirit. I know we disagree about the shape of the Earth, but hopefully we can get past that. Spirit says, quote, I know I live on a spinning ball Earth. Here is my number one reason why I believe this. It's not something I believe. It's observable. Well, for one, just like you see in these videos that we pulled up from Dwayne, and I don't know where it went. I showed it earlier. Dwayne shows an amateur by sending up a balloon shows that there is a curve that you can witness. You can literally see things coming back into view as you go up because of the curve. It's easy to see it. It's easy to prove it. This is why the Flat Earth Mafia, all the Flat Earth YouTubers, that's why they don't tell you how it would work on the night and day cycle. There he is. There's the dude I was talking about earlier. It's in one of your videos. Okay, sorry. Anyway, that's mine. So go ahead, Blue. Spirit of Longhorn asks what your number one reason for quote-unquote believing in a globe would be. Just so many things.
I know that's always a hard question. What is your number one reason for belief? Well, the simple fact that I suppose that we've been able to see it. We've been able to look at photographs brought back from the Apollo missions, even before Apollo, showing the globe.
Before there was computers to fake it.
Yeah, there was no CGI. I mean, I grew up in that era. I was 7 years old when Sputnik was launched. Okay. I mean, I remember the panic we went through in this country when the Russians decided to put that thing up over our heads. The world went crazy for a while. I watched Mercury and Gemini and Apollo. I saw in person the launch of Apollo 11. And this is at a time when all of this nonsense wasn't going on. I mean, nobody was trying to if anybody had a reason to debunk NASA at that point in time, it was Russia.
Yeah.
If there would have been the slightest hint of any shenanigans going on, you can bet your ass it would have been the Russians and the Chinese. We were mortal enemies at that point.
That's a good point. We didn't even talk about the moon, and there's so much to go through. We'll have to do another stream and talk about it because it's one of my favorite topics, talk about the moon landing and all that stuff. But you're right. Yeah. Why wouldn't those countries speak up when that's their whole goal at that time was to win or, come up ahead of us.
But seeing that, having lived through that and having seen those sorts of things, but then, if you want to do something yourself, do what Bob the Science Guy and I did back in the spring at the equinox. Do the Eratosthenes experiment, but do it with another guy like I did with Bob. Bob lives 500 miles or so north of me. His latitude's about 500 miles north. Both of us did Eratosthenes. I came within about 30 miles of the accurate diameter or circumference of the Earth, doing it the same way Eratosthenes did it. Bob came very close himself using much smaller apparatus than the one I used. Mine was just inherently more accurate than what he did. But the interesting thing was, you cannot possibly make the sun be at the same altitude unless you take into account the latitude that you're at on a sphere. Now that's firsthand. That's an experiment that anyone can do. All you need, like I said, all you need is a buddy at a latitude that's significantly different than yours, and you'll find out that one of two things is true. Either the sun can simultaneously be at two radically different altitudes, or you live on a sphere. It's that simple.
And you could watch Conspiracy Cats debate Nathan Thompson if you want to know my other reason, because Conspiracy Cats explains it better than I do. But, you can use geometry with the southern pole star, the northern pole star, and it's literally impossible to take observations, simple observations, and then, as you go up the Earth and have any other shape but a globe. And in the same way, the night and day cycle. Spirit of Longhorn, you've watched my channel for a long time, and then when I started doing the flat earth debunkery, I know that you haven't liked my stuff since then, but I'd invite you to ask yourself why, for all that Nathan Oakley or Sleeping Warrior or Arwen had to do is respond to me and completely shut me down. And they hate me. They hate my guts. Go watch when I jump in their chat and watch how they all act, right? They hate my guts, and all they have to do is the most basic thing to shut me up, which was explain the night-day cycle and why half of the Earth is in darkness and half of the Earth is in light at any given time. Because you can't draw it on a flat Earth without it being debunked by the seasons, without it being debunked by the 24-hour cycle of the sun in the north and south, have it bunked by the Southern Cross and Polaris. There are so many. And then the upside-down moon when you're in the southern hemisphere from the northern hemisphere, so many things. I could just go on forever, honestly. Right, Blue?
Oh, hell yeah. What happens to the sunlight that it somehow or the other selectively decides to arbitrarily just quit at the North Pole, yet it continues to extend itself way the hell on out to the fringes, east and west? How in the hell can that happen? Does it just get tired and give up? I don't know.
Is the sun a spotlight when it needs to be, and in the northern, up near the pole, and for part of the year it just decides to stay on? Is it a different sun? The problem is the globe model easily, if you educate yourself, when you're not educated on it, and not an insult, this is not me being mean to you, if you're not educated, when I wasn't educated on it, and I went in to watch Flat Earth videos at first, there was that little thing in my head like, holy shit, they're lying, until, like I said, I searched for the debunks. Because I'd remembered things from school, because I went through, I paid attention in school, and then I went to college, so it wasn't too disconnected from my mind. Who knows what would happen if I would have went and watched those videos 10 years later, or maybe 15 years later, when more of that stuff isn't in the front of my mind. What we learn is testable, it's reproducible, and it shows that it's impossible for any of these observations to be on a flat Earth. If you could prove it, you'd change science. So would Oakley. That's why they sit around arguing instead of proving it. Anyway, I want to make sure we don't have any more questions. If you want to talk about anything, you're more than welcome to, Blue. I'm going to scan through.
Yeah, I was just looking through the comments too. Moderate extremist asked me if I could sing. No, I can't.
I can't either. Sometimes I do moderate, but I'm really bad at I'm bad at that shit.
Yeah, they throw things at me when I sing.
An equatorial mount will not work on a flat Earth, says TC Lucas. What's an equatorial mount again? It's not. I'm not thinking. I don't know. For some reason, it's not coming up.
What well, you mount a telescope on an equatorial mount, and it will track. It will track the moon or a star or whatever you aim it at, because it simply rotates at the same rate the Earth rotates. So it will keep whatever you've aimed it at in its center of its field of view. Now, on a round Earth, that works perfectly. But on a flat Earth, it doesn't work at all. It would have to move in an arc, and it does not do that. I mean, it would have. It's just totally impossible.
Spirit responded to what we said with, I would ask this: discern the way you did when I started following your channel to even be put in the same sentence as Oakley is bad. No sides, no hate, no fear. Simple. Well, I'm sorry, but Oakley definitely needs to be debunked. He's lying to a huge group of people. He's smug about it, and he has no concern for misleading them for his own gain. So, I mean, yeah, I can get your point. Some people will say, UNIRock, you shouldn't target specific people on YouTube to debunk and whatever. But I this is my process. Sorry that it's that way, and if you don't like it, I understand, but this is what I do. I feel it's needed.
Oakley has made himself a target.
Purposely, I think. I think it helps his keep those viewers up, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Make no mistake about it. Oakley is in this for the money. That's it.
Oh, yeah. It's that one little leak, that one little screenshot of him talking to Riley and saying what he said about the globe. And no, don't talk about that. It's a trap. That proves the globe is enough for me, you know, but, you know, whatever.
Yep. Absolutely. No, that's how he. Well, just like Jaron. I mean, that's how they make their money.
Yeah.
I happen to. I'm an old retired guy. I don't need any money. It's not about money for me. My channel's monetized just because it can be, but I mean that's the end of it. And for those of you interested, don't try to make a living on what YouTube is going to pay you for your videos. You won't get a lot of money, believe me.
Oh, yeah. They think we're rich and that NASA's paying us and all this stuff. If you only knew what we made a month, you would probably be like, why do you guys do this shit? I do it because I like it.
Exactly. I think my shield check runs up about $150 a month at best.
Mine's not much higher. I'll say that. It's not much higher.
It's pathetic. But going back to one thing you brought up earlier, and I just got to say this: I am sick and tired of hearing this crap about a container.
Yeah,
I am thoroughly sick of that. I took two semesters of thermodynamics in college. Not one time was the word container ever used. When we talk about gas and gas pressure, we don't talk about containers. We talk about closed systems, open systems, and isolated systems. When I put butane gas in an open-ended pipe, that is an open system. It is free to exchange both matter and energy.
You did that. Oh my God, I was trying to figure out who did that. Sorry.
I did it, and I have yet to hear an explanation from Mr. Oakley or Mr. Riley or Quantum Eraser. And if you guys are listening right now, please tell me how that pipe contained gas pressure without a cap on the other end of it. It is an open system. Why did it not expel all of that gas immediately into the atmosphere? Explain that to us, please.
Nathan Thompson also, because he parroted that argument when he debated conspiracy cats. It's a dumb argument. These definitions, this is the semantic game. I hate to go back to it, but it's true. If you're going to, when you go into a dictionary or an encyclopedia even, you're trying to write down a paragraph or the shortest thing you can. They used to sell those damn things, and they were that thick, you know. They weren't on a computer, and a lot of them are still sold. But anyway, you're trying to write the most generalized explanation of a word or a subject so that people, the widest audience, can pick up your dictionary and understand it. And it's supposed to be pretty basic too. They love going in and grabbing the definition for that and saying, well, it says you need a container, but there's no container in the globe, therefore debunk. But that's not debunking. They could say that, but to debunk it, next they're going to have to send up a balloon and find their magical shielded snow globe glass. Next, they're going to have to actually go out and do that scientific method that they talk about and then submit it to peer review. Have they ever done any of that with any of their points? This is why you got to ask yourself, are they doing it for money, for views, or whatever? Or are they doing it because it's real and true? Because they are the ones saying it's truth. They are the ones sitting there saying, we're the truther channels, you know? Obviously, they're not testing this thing and moving forward. Quantum Eraser would get a Nobel Prize, and we'd all have to jump off the edge of the ice wall if that happened.
I have never seen Quantum Eraser do a damn thing. Obviously, Nathan Oakley can't do anything. The only one of them that's ever even tried anything is Sleeping Warrior.
Well, Arwen's trying now. He's taking observations at least. That was recently, though.
Yeah, he just got his P900, I think, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing even semi resembling an experiment that I've seen is that crazy egg thing that that Anthony did.
Oh God! Oh man, that was funny.
which is just comic gold, if you want my opinion. But
true, because what did he measure? He wasn't measuring. He was measuring parts per inch. He wasn't measuring what he said he was buoyancy, wasn't he?
Measuring parts per million. He had a dissolved solids meter, which he said it's just a number. It doesn't matter, right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was gold too. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what the number is. You have no idea what the machine is you're using or what it measures. But somehow or the other, you just assume that means it's measuring density.
Well, hey, Blue. He did debunk Einstein. Remember?
Well, I forgot about that. You're right.
I'm just playing. Oh, man, it's crazy because I've read what Einstein wrote down, okay? I've went in there and tried to understand it, and that dude was ahead of his time. He was confirmed by technology all the way up to now in everything that we test. You get me?
Yeah.
My point is, how in the hell? And then, to put the icing on the shit cake, they sit and say that Einstein's wrong and that his theory's wrong, gravity doesn't exist, Einstein's wrong about this, and they pull quotes from him constantly, and they source him if they have to. Obviously, something's wrong. There's a disconnect. For any of you guys that are following them and believing in this, there's a reason why these people are using this topic to draw money and views from you. You get me? Just like there's a reason that me and Blue are doing it, but at least we're doing it to correct them and at least try to entertain you at the same time. That's a good motive. What's theirs? You have to ask yourself eventually. All right, Blue. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to D-Live. Are you still with me? I want to make sure you didn't disconnect here. I heard some weird noises. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm going to head over to D-Live and stream for a little bit, but I want to get you back in. I want to do a creator chat. You know some creators, and I don't mind if they're flat creators. I don't care if they're globe creators. I have a couple conditions. My conditions are that they have a reputation for, holding a conversation, trying to understand the people they talk to, which is very simple. And then they have to have a YouTube channel. I do take people that have a Twitter following or something else. It's not about numbers. I don't care if you got 50 people. I just think that if you take somebody out of the crowd and put them up here and they don't have a channel, they're likely to just troll and jump out and stuff, and I want to avoid that. So if there's a creator that you want to come talk, I want to do a chat this weekend. Blue, you said you might come, right?
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Cool. And I know Team Skeptic was saying that he was going to come talk again soon, and Fight the Flat Earth might. He's busy. Fight the Flat Earth busy. He's doing like bunches of videos where he like renders, all this crazy graphics and stuff. So he's a busy guy to get on the channel, but I'm going to get him in here soon. And Sideman said he'd come soon, and we're all going to I'm going to try to get a chat this weekend. So let creators know. If you're a creator, email me, UNIRocktv@gmail.com. Blue, man, I just appreciate you coming. I'm glad you're here. I've seen you talking on Jose's channel, and you make great points, and I can't wait to get some stuff going on over here and maybe diving into these topics a little further, and maybe even some other topics.
Uni, it's been great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed it.
Same here, man. And your channel is Blue. I keep calling you Blue. I need to call you Blue Marble Science so people can go subscribe. Please go subscribe to Blue Marble Science. All right, Blue, I'm going to go ahead and end the call. I will email you tomorrow and let you know what's going on, and we'll get something else going here real soon.
All right, buddy. Great.
All right, see you then.
Take care.
All right, y'all, please do me a solid. Subscribe to Blue Marble Science. Let me drop the link in the chat. I think the mods have been doing it this whole time. I'm not here to disagree. I hope you guys, I know. Let me say something. Let me sum it up. I'm already doing that thing I do. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. So, thank you guys for coming and watching. I'm heading to D Live, but before I go there, I want to say I know a lot of people watched me before I started to debunk Flat Earth or respond to Flat Earth. And you got to remember, I was asked to do it over and over and over again, okay? For those of you that hate me now because I am a glober, I was asked every week. I would say daily. There's a lot of times I was asked daily for a good long period of time. Please look into the Flat Earth. You'll become a Flat Earther, UNIRock. But eventually, when I looked into it, I have to be able to be honest with you and tell you the truth about what's there. If I'm getting something wrong about my take on this, you're welcome to come, put together a presentation and come on this channel and share it. You're welcome to come and explain your side and where it's differing or wrong. I would ask that you would come prepared. I would ask that you would bring, a few things with you, like to start at the beginning, because that's what we've done. The people that have the globe model, I guess that's how you say it, right? Start at the beginning. Bring me the night-day cycle, like I drew earlier on the Billboard of Doom. Bring me the night-day cycle, where the sun and the moon is, how the Terminator line works. We're not going to troll you. We're not going to call you stupid. We'll applaud you for attempting it. We may debunk you, but we won't just turn you away, okay? Now, I would prefer that one of you do it who's watched me for a while, been around, because there's a lot of trolls out there that don't like what we do, and they'd love nothing more than to get on the show and troll their ass off. But please email me. I've got my email cleared out. I'm not going to be able to respond to a lot of the emails that I got, and I'm sorry. If there's an important thing that you've emailed me in the last month and I didn't get back to you, just please send it again. I'm checking my emails every day again. You guys know I had a lot of shit going on with my family. It was the school was starting. It was the end of summer. We're into the fall now. Anyway, I'm back to checking that stuff. Get a hold of me. If there's anything I missed, I apologize. Send it again. And I really meant what I said. I'm going to start. I used to host a weekly creator chat. You remember, like, Anti-School came a lot, and a bunch of other people would come talk. Whoa, what's wrong with my playback? Looks like it's trying to load. Let me make sure I'm still live. Oh, I'm good. Okay. Anyway, if you're a flat earther, you're more than welcome to come and bring a point, okay? I'll bring you up and I'll tell people what you showed me. If you don't want to come on, I'll put you up on the screen, whatever you want to do. I would love to be able to resolve this stupid situation. I will admit, though, it's fun. It really is. It's fun to do this. I like the topic. I like the space. If you watched my channel, you know I liked it, because I would update you weekly on what was going on with the moon and what was going on with the planets and NASA and stuff like that. That type of news always made its way into my show, even before I started to debunk the flat earth side of things. Anyway, so what we got going on this weekend, I'm aiming for a creator chat, probably a couple of them, really. I'd like to do one Friday and Sunday, or just whenever it'll work, depending on how many other creators message me. We'll do one, we'll do two, whatever, and I want to do it weekly. Also, shit, dude, we've got a bunch of shit going on this weekend, but of course I can't remember any of it now. Anyway, I'm sorry that I took the day off yesterday, but you guys know I've been working on my edited videos more, so you're going to see me taking nights off of streaming often. I'll at least still get 4 or 5 days in a week. To anyone out there like Sleeping Warrior, Nathan Oakley. Oh, I want to give a message directly to Sleeping Warrior because somebody kicked me out or timed me out in this chat. I apologize for wording my statement like I did. My statement was, you need to go back to middle school. And I know it was a little trolly, but it's true, okay? They teach us variables in middle school. They explain what they are, how they work, what they mean. And the problem is, yes, time moving from now to the end of your experiment definitely qualifies as the independent variable. And to try to make the argument up on your screen that it doesn't, and then me telling you go back to middle school, it was needed. It seems a little harsh. It's needed, right? If you're not deceptive, Riley, why haven't you at least tried to get your model together? Oh, because models don't represent reality. They do. If you need to go back to college or high school or whatever, take some courses and then come back, mathematics and the models do represent reality if it's correct math. Because if you can't make a prediction with your mathematics, obviously it's wrong and you got to go back to the drawing board. So the mathematics that's used in the globe model has been tested and tried and true, and it does predict what's going to happen. It'll even predict the stuff that's going on up in the sky. Got me? Also, I would love to stress, again, subscribe to Blue Marble Science, but if you didn't catch 2 videos, please watch them. I'm going to ask Quantum Eraser to watch my video, because now I know that Oakley, Quantum Eraser, and Arwen know who I am. They've all responded to me in live chats in the last week. I put out a challenge to you, Quantum Eraser, Oakley, and Arwen. And I challenged you to show me the Terminator line night and day, explain the Terminator line, where the sun and moon is, and where the Earth is, and draw out a diagram, write a paragraph or 2 or 3, whatever you got to do, and put it in video form or submit it to a creator who will put it in video form, and let us debunk you and show you where you're wrong. And to go back and forth with us, after we debunk you and resubmit it, you can correct it and send it back and start the final challenge, the final showdown, all right? If you want us to leave you alone, show us this, right? It's all you got to do. Night, day, Terminator line, it's all in this video. I challenge Nathan Oakley, Arwen, and Quantum Eraser. Also, Nathan Oakley is a proven glober. It's all in this challenge. And I also invite the audience of these guys to hold their feet to the coals, to go and tell them, if you guys think UNIRock is this, like, you know, shitty dude, then why in the hell haven't you debunked him, put him to shame, and moved on? They purposely avoid this. It's the easiest thing for us to debunk, and they know it. They've learned that. And if they avoid trying to explain this and put out an explanation, a model, a diagram, or anything to kind of give it, they know we're going to take it and tear it apart every time until it matches the globe. You got me? And they know this because Professor Dave Explains just did it. Not only that, he took the seasons, he took Coriolis, he took every other thing that they lie about and laid it out and showed you what it was. And I remember, oh my God, dude, that's why it's hard to remember this stuff for all of us. It was taught very early on in our education. It's that basic. They're taking very basic things like the definition of an independent variable or what Coriolis is and why it happens. And they're trying to argue it and lie about it because they're preying off of our memories. They're preying off of the fact that a lot of us learned this when we were so young, we don't remember it anymore. Our minds are so full of everything else, we didn't re-educate ourselves with it. We didn't remind ourselves what Coriolis was. And once you realize it, it's just, damn, that's simple. I remember that, and it's easy. You got me? So I think if you really want to say that we're wrong, first, if you can't get these guys to do it, and they're at the top of your community when it comes to arguing the flat earth, that's why their names are there. Why don't you, viewer, make a video and explain this on your flat earth? There was this dude named Flat Earth Data hanging out in Jose's channel. There was another guy, he was a flat earther. He jumped into Jose's channel while I was there. Another guy jumped in the next day, and these are all different people. Why have they not put together this and submitted it to the globe? If you're so confident that the earth is flat that you could sit there and collect money for 5 years arguing it with people, why haven't you done this? I'm going to keep reminding you. Also, I'm talking to Cyman Dan because he said he had a challenge he wanted to put out, and I hope he puts that on my channel. Cyman, I messaged you back on Twitter. Please write me back and come do your challenge here. Put it out here, man. Not only will it be an awesome video and an awesome live stream, it'll really piss those guys off if you put the challenge out over here. My channel is open to you whenever you want to come, Cyman. All right, I think that's it, guys. I'm going over to DLive. But I'm going to do something crazy over there. I'm going to do something really crazy. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I don't want to get demonetized. Come over to dlive.tv/UNIRocktv. Just another streaming platform like Twitch, like those other platforms. Come over and hang out with us. I got some really cool stuff to look at, and I want to try to debunk some stuff that I can't debunk on YouTube. YouTube straight up put it out in their Google or their blog, their YouTube blog, that they don't want that type of content here. And DLive doesn't care if we talk about that content there. So head over there because I need help. I need smart people. I need conspiratorial people, people that'll question the narrative to come over there. But I don't need liars. So if you can't question the narrative without lying to yourself, please do not come. We're going to take on one of the most complicated, most complex conspiracy theories that have ever existed, and we're going to charge into it head first and pull out every single piece of this conspiracy theory, well, the big ones, and we're going to try to think through it, research it out, and go through every piece of the puzzle until we can get to a conclusion. You'll understand if you stop by dlive.tv/UNIRocktv. Guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Blue Marble Science, thanks so much for coming. See you tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow with my normal show. Tomorrow is my normal show. Come tomorrow to my normal show. Not forgetting the sub says Spirit of Longhorn. I try not to forget you guys. Try not to. What? That's why you subscribe to me, so I can make you videos. See you over here on DLive. Let's go. All right, I'm rerouting the signal. See you guys over on DLive, and I'll see you tomorrow right here, same time, same channel. We're Batman for my normal live show. Haven't had one in days. Get ready. It's going to be a doozy.